Hello my friend. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Abdul Alfikri. I come from West Nusa Tenggara in Sumbawa from University Muhammadiyah of Yogyakarta. Name 2024051045. Today I want to answer a segment from Mr. Rofik. It's AIK 2. The first question is describe the pillar and condition of marriage. The second question, explain the law of nikah siri according to Muhammadiyah. The third question, explain the types of talak and the difference between them. And 4, explain the definition and difference between talak, huluk, fasya. 5, explain the tips of iddah and the ruling relation to its tips. And 6 question, explain the talak outside of court according to Muhammadiyah. The first question, the pillar of marriage in Islam are the main element that must be present for marriage to be valid according to Sharia. There are 5 pillars of marriage. First, the prospective groom. Second, prospective bride. And third, there are wali nikah, usually from the woman's side. The fourth, 2 witness. And the 5, ijan and kabul. These 5 pillars must be fulfilled for marriage to be considered valid according to Islamic law. In addition to the pillars, there are also conditions that must be met by each party, such as the absence of obstacles to marriage, mahram relationship, stillborn, be another marriage, and other. The second, the law of siri marriage according to Muhammadiyah. According to the fatwa of the Muhammadiyah Tarjih Council Nikah Siri, that is not requisite, and the office religious affair KUA is basically religiously valid. It's fulfill the pillar and condition of marriage. There is bride, groom, witness, ijab, kabul. However, Muhammadiyah requires its citizen registered marriage at the KUA accordance with the laws and regulations in force in Indonesia. The regulation is important to create order, legal custody, and protection of the right of with children, as well as to prevent mis of marriage. Therefore, Muhammadiyah citizen unregistered nikah siri is not allowed and they must be registered. The third question, talak 1 and 2 are the same, so when a husband pronounces divorce 1 and 2 to his wife, it is still possible to reconcile the but must wait for iddah or waiting period. Talak 3 is different from 1 and 2 because talak 3 cannot be reconciled. So when a husband pronounces talak 3 to his wife, it cannot be reconciled unless the wife has remarried someone else, but divorced them, the marriage can be reconciled. But if it is intentional, such as the husband ordering someone to marry his wife and then divorce, it is not allowed and it is not valid reconcile. The main difference lies in the right of reconciliation and the condition for getting back married after divorce. The fourth, definition and difference of talak, huluk, fasya. Talak, the determination of the marriage relationship by the husband with a certain pronunciation. The second, huluk, divorce at the request of the wife by giving compensation, usually returning the dowry to the husband. The third, fasak, the annulment of marriage for reasons such as certain contagious diseases, one of the bride and groom apostasy leave Islam, and the husband being unable to provide for his wife. The main difference it is that divorce is the husband right, is the wife request with a reason, while fasak is decided by the court judge for certain reason. 5. Iddah is waiting period that a woman must endure after the end of her marriage, either through divorce or the death of her husband before she can remarry. The purpose of iddah is, among other things, to ensure that there is no pregnancy that confuse the nasab, to give time to mourn and to project the honor of woman. Tips of iddah. Iddah due to refers for women who are still menstruating and have had sexual intercourse with their husband lasts for 3 periods of purity kuru. This period applies to women who have physically experienced menstruation and have had marital relation. During this iddah period, women are prohibited from marrying other men, and husbands still have the right of reconciliation without a new contract. The second, the iddah for women who do not menstruate, such as those who have not reached puberty or have gone through menopause is 3 lunar months. This provision applies because such women cannot calculate the iddah period based on menstruation, so it is calculated based on the lunar calendar time. The third, iddah for a woman who has pregnant at the time of divorce or the death of her husband lasts until she gives birth. This aims to enhance the clarity of the nasab of the child conceived. The iddah period applies whether the marriage ends due to divorce or the death of the husband. The fourth, iddah waiting period for death of the husband for a woman who is not pregnant is 4 months and 10 days. During this period, women are required not to other themselves, not to achieve proposal, and not get married as a form of respect and a period of mourning for the death of the husband. The 5, a woman who has never had sexual intercourse with her husband is not obligated to undergo an iddah period in the event of divorce. This is because there is not physical bond, then requires a waiting period to confer pregnancy of parity. During the iddah period, there are several restrictions and obligations that must be obeyed. Women may not marry other men, may not achieve proposal, and the iddah or Raj'i divorce, the husband is still obligated to provide maintenance and has a right to reconcile with a new contract. Women are also allowed to leave the house without the husband's permission, and the husband may not evict her during the iddah of rigid divorce, whereas in the iddah of dead, women are prohibited from mourning themselves or wearing perfume. The Quranic proof that explain iddah include in Surah Al-Baqarah verse 2 to 8, which mention the waiting period of 3 quru for divorced woman, talak verse 4 concerning iddah for pregnant woman until childbirth, and Surah Al-Baqarah verse 2, 3, 4, which regulates iddah for 4 months and 10 days for women whose husband died. In terms of wisdom, iddah has important purpose, namely maintaining the credibility of the child lineage, giving time to grieve for women who lost their husband or experience divorce, and maintaining the honor and custody of women during the transition period before remarrying. The sixth question out of called talak according to Muhammadiyah. The Muhammadiyah Tarjih Council advises the talak conducive outside of a court session as no legal force by the state, although religiously it can be considered valid if it fulfills the pillar and condition. However, Muhammadiyah emphasizes the importance of recording and implementing the divorce before a religious court to protect the rights of women and children, as well as for legal children. Therefore, Muhammadiyah requires divorce to be carried out through the court, not outside the conversation. Okay, that's all for me. If there is many mistake, I apologize. I'm so sorry. Okay, the last I say you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.